Peace, peace. This is your host, Selah-Shalom. And this is the Cosmon Teachings in the Words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible, OAHSPE. And the topic of discussion today is called, As Above, So Below as Above. Now this proverb is an age-old proverb stemming from the great Tahuti of ancient Kemet. And when we look at the layout of the three pyramids of Giza, we see the same in the sky being the bell of Orion. So here we have an example on earth as above, so below. Now in the book of Jehovah chapter 4, verse 7 through 11, verse 7, the corporeal man made I belonging to the seen, but the spiritual man made I as one within the unseen and everlasting. Verse 8, as the corporeal man beholdeth corporeal things, so do the spiritual man followeth upward the evaporated corporeal entities of things. As corporeal things are tangible to corporean, so are spirit things tangible to the spirits of the dead. Verse 9, as I cause water to rise upward as vapor, and take a place in the air above. Let it be a sign and testimony of other places in atmospheria, whereon dwell the spirits of the lower heavens. Verse 10, as I made a limit to the ascent of the clouds, so made I a limit to the place of the different kinds of substances in atmospheria, the more subtile and potent to the extreme, and the more dense and impotent near to the earth. Verse 11, according to the condition of these different plateaus in atmospheria, whether they be near the earth or high above, so shall the spirit of man take its place in the first heaven, according to his diet and desire and behavior. So shall he dwell in spirit on the plateau which he hath adapted himself during his earth life. So these verses are giving you the layout and the blueprint of the system and order between the connection in earth and atmospheria, as above, so below. Now, in the book of Fracapati, chapter 42, verse 2, it states, be it known, O angels and mortals, such is the glory of Jehovah's work, that stand where ye will, his kingdom are always seeming above. As ye on earth look upward and behold the stars, so they that live on the stars look upward to see the earth. If therefore ye were receiving messages from the stars, it would seem to you that they came downward, but to them as if they rose upward, even until near the landing place, when it would be downward to them also. Because the feet of a mortal or the feet of an angel are on the foundations of his place, and because of his head standing in the opposite way from his feet. So this verse explains the dimensional aspect of the ascent and descent. Again, as above, so below as above. Now here is an example to show and prove the preliminary lessons between mortals and angels. Now in the book of Fragapati, chapter 21, verse 2 through 6, it states, verse 2, as mortal children can be taught by objective illustrations, so have I created my spirit worlds, capable of similar processes subjectively. My rules are not man's rules, nor are my worlds illustrated as man illustrative. Behold, my rainbow, which is a subjective illustration to mortals, of a bow, without the substance of a bow. But man bendeth a stick and saith, behold, a bow. And he holdeth it in his hand, but mine he cannot touch. Verse 3, I gave to mortals to teach their sons and daughters many combinations by the use of objects, that they should know a circle, a square, a triangle, or learn to compute numbers by the use of objects. Inversely, in the same way, I created subjective means for the spirits of the dead, that they may be taught and amused with my works. To corporeans I give corporeal eyes and corporeal ears, but a few I give suas, that they may see and hear things spiritually. Verse 5. To the spirits of mortals who die in infancy, I give spiritual eyes and spiritual ears, but without cultivation they hear not corporeal things, nor see corporeal things. But to such spirits that have fulfilled an earth life, I created them to see and hear after death the matters of both worlds. Verse 6. Nevertheless, there are many spirits in heaven who have not fulfilled either a spiritual life or a corporeal life, and they can see but little and hear but little, for which reason I commanded that they should be called drugers, signifying spirits of darkness. So again, showing you the connection between mortals and angels. Now here is an example between the earthly kingdoms among mortals and the heavenly kingdoms among angels belonging to the earth, and the heavenly kingdoms among angels belonging to the earth. Now in the book of Divinity, chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, and verses 6 and 7. Verse 2. That ye may be taught from the little that has been demonstrated in the world of governments and principalities being manifested on earth, that similar organic bodies exist in heaven, belonging to the earth. Verse 3. Which heavenly places and governments were the cause and forerunners of good governments manifested among mortals. Verse 4. Jehovah said, He that is chief of a government on earth shall be called king. But he who is chief of my heavenly government shall be called God. And it was so. Verse 6. Wherein Jehovah provided that no man could be king forever, but must give way to a successor. Even so, in his heavens provided he also unto his gods and lords for successors at certain periods of time. Verse 7. That the way may be open for the everlasting resurrection for all mortals, whereby all who choose may in time become also lords and gods for the countless worlds that now are and shall yet be created. So this verse gives you the parallel between the earthly kingdom among mortals and the heavenly kingdom among angels. And it's the same process and function and same rulership. As above, so below as above. Now in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, chapter 10, verse 11, it states how high-raised gods and goddesses, Etherian ambassadors, capable of transversing in spacecrafts throughout the cosmos, were once mortals like us right now, as stated in verse 11. Verse 11, as Jehovah maketh worlds and send them forth in the places of his firmament, so in imitation of him his Etherian gods and goddesses make adavacids, which are spacecrafts, to transverse space from star to star and from one Etherian region to another. Great in wisdom and power are Jehovah's Etherian gods and goddesses, yet they too were once but men and women with corporeal bodies. So here again, it's showing you the progression of mortals after death, showing you how these great gods and goddesses were once corporeal beings like ourselves right now. As above, so below as above. Now in the book of Apollo, son of Jehovah, chapter 3, verse 20, it states how angels observe mortals in time of warfare as if a television program. Verse 20, as men on earth gather around to witness beasts in battle, so gather these countless millions of spirits to witness kingdoms of mortals in war and fire and plunder. And by their presence urge men to cruelty and cunning horrors. See that? As above, so below as above. Here is another example of how angels inspire mortals without their knowing, as stated in God's book of OAHSPE chapter 20, verse 11. As the armies of mortals were moved forth by the armies of angels, whom they saw not, war raged east, west, north, and south. So these were several examples to show you how mortals and angels are basically connected, being one and the same. First being a mortal terrestrial on earth, living in earth life, then dying, becoming an angel or spirit, and then beginning the process of progression through the atmospheric planes of the planet, the first, second, and third heaven. And after that, becoming a resident in the Etherian kingdoms, existing outside of the earth and its atmosphere. This is the system in order for all corporeal worlds, not just the earth, but the countless earth-like worlds that exist in the cosmos. And they have to go through a similar process like us. As above, so below as above. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on the next documentary. Shalom.